I gotta send this
We're
tweet
early
now.
this week.
By
but,
many hours.
We're late in that we haven't done this in a week or two. But
That's about right. Yeah, actually.
So now we're never gonna be on anyone's schedule. But
Yes.
fuck them anyways. Sorry, guys. I don't mean that. Don't take it personally.
I do
Just
mean
like
it. Fuck you. No, I am kidding. Not really.
So we watched a lot of things in the last month or so. We haven't been able to talk about yet. Some really good things too, especially just
Woo!
what I would say one of my favorites. I don't know if it's the best thing we watched. In fact, I'm almost positive it isn't. But
I don't know. That's a hard thing to say, right?
yeah, we just watched it this weekend, and I really enjoyed it. I think it will be one I revisit several times.
Okay.
Anyways, we'll get to that.
All right, so let me whip out my handy dandy fancy schmancy movies with Justin list. What was the last episode we talked about movies? I gotta go look that up real quick. Because I don't know where it ends. Or the last one ends and the next one begins. Because it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 weeks, I think. There's Dead Ringers. That's the week. Okay, oh. That's cool. Let me go. I didn't put the listing in the thing. Skin Slip, Dead Ringers. I'm pretty sure I've listed it in the. Yeah, here we go. Dead Ringers, Angst. Okay. Did we talk about the? We didn't talk about the hang. I couldn't have.
The what?
Witchcraft, Elementary, Sisters M, Stay Away Joe, Early Summer. Yeah. So.
We did talk about angst. I remember that.
Yeah.
Didn't say much about
Did
it.
we do? Okay, so we did Elementary. I think was the last thing we talked about that week. Did we do Sisters and M, Stay Away Joe, Early Summer? I think we covered all those. I think we are starting on the week of Parasite. Parasite. You read any remembrance of Parasite 1992, the 3D film that we watched in 2D?
Yes. I like that it was a post-apocalyptic. I was not expecting it to be a post-apocalyptic film. I guess I didn't know what to expect really, except like, this is Charles Band, right? This is, probably not going to be high art. And I
I'd
wasn't
seen it
wrong
when I was a
about that.
kid. I remember scenes when I watched it, but like, yeah, all I remember is that someone told me it was an Alien ripoff.
Like in some ways,
Well,
but
in some ways, yeah.
Alien didn't take place on Earth.
Yeah, we should have.
Mm-hmm.
We need an Earth High movie.
Oh yeah. So Parasite, though, I felt like it was a lot better than I was expecting because I was expecting something not very good. I wasn't expecting something terrible, mind you, but I had my meter firmly set up. This is going to be a 5 out of 10, hopefully.
Thanks for the follow.
And
All
then I would say not by a whole lot, but it did exceed those expectations, at least a little bit. So, and
I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Who was it we were surprised to see in it, though?
I don't remember.
What's her face?
What's her face? That's descriptive.
She
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore. I was gonna say Demi Lovato. God, somebody help me here.
And Sherry Curry from the Runaways was there in that movie also apparently.
Yeah. Nervously chewing gum.
All right.
I just need something.
I gave Parasite a 5 out of 10.
Deal with cravings.
I felt it like drug a lot. There were a lot of dead time in this movie. That was interesting when they started talking about the world. Like they talk about there was corporate cities, which they're talking about, which is in the news now. Amazon wants to open up a fucking corporate city again. By the way, it's a terrible idea. Every corporate town that's ever sprung up has basically gone to shit, either through violence or through extreme poverty, or the company going out of business. And then guess what? You're fucked.
They're not designed to exist for a long period of time. I don't think they ever were.
Mm-mm.
But when I heard them talking about Amazon starting up their own fucking cities and towns, I'm just like, so then coal towns again, but with Amazon.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that town is not going to exist very long. It's like it might work kind of okay for a few people, literally a few people, for like 10 or 20 years at most, but then like no corporate town has existed and flourished for more than like 50 fucking years.
Yeah, because either the thing dries up, the exploited workers walk away, or there's mob violence because one corporate town got in trouble because they basically killed a bunch of people who were trying to strike, and by a bunch of people I mean men, women, and children who were in an encampment outside of the corporate town because you can't live in a corporate town if you strike against them. They just kick you out because they own the houses. They own the stores. You can't buy food. You can't buy supplies because you can't go into the stores because you're not part of the company. Corporate towns are a terrible idea, basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I did like that the movie was kind of touching on that in a little bit of a way.
Oh,
And
it's Rosie.
the way that the apocalypse looked at in the movie was just on point.
Yeah. Oh, and they mentioned as thing. One guy mentions he worked in the suburbs for a corporation, for a corporate town, and like he had been branded by that corporate town, and one of the agents had met, had like discovered this and like checked his tattoo thing, and yeah, it's a small little moment, and then it was really funny because literally the 2 days later that stuff from Amazon showed up that talking about
yeah
the corporate towns, and I was like, oh man, it's a terrible idea.
Yep.
I'm posting on Facebook for the rare chance.
But yes, Parasite I think was a 6 out of 10.
Ooh, you're very kind to it.
I don't think it's the best movie ever, but I definitely think it was better than what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And subverted a lot of expectations I had for it as being ridiculously cheesy. There are a lot of cheesy elements to it, but there's also some kind of, I don't know, subversive elements to it that I wasn't expecting. You're expecting something really lowbrow, and you get a few little hints of like a highbrow concept in there. You're like, oh, wait a minute. So what we watch next?
Good question, and I should have been prepared, but I'm terrible at coasting things. So, oh yeah, Jason Goes to Hell, the best not Friday the 13th movie.
Oh yeah.
It's so obvious that it so obviously feels like this person had a random horror pitch, and then it's like, well, can you do a Friday the 13th movie? And he immediately thought, I'll just rewrite my movie with the Friday the 13th. That's what it feels like. Now, if that's true or not, I don't know, but that's how things happen in the Hollywood business. Shit like that happens all the time. Or they have a script laying around and they say, hey, rewrite this to add fucking Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees in it. And the result is you get some really wild Parasite body horror film that just happens to have a Jason mask, of Jason veneer on it. The movie itself has a Jason mask laid over its gory body horror premise, which I really fucking loved. I actually love this movie. That being said, I don't think it's better than 6 out of 10 because it feels clunky with all the forced Friday the 13th stuff. I feel like the Friday the 13th stuff is actually bogs this movie down because it pretty much contradicts. Like, it's like, oh, and the last 15-20 minutes of the movie, they finally introduced the fucking dagger that can kill Jason. I keep calling him Freddy for some reason. My brain's crap. It's like they literally introduced this fucking mystical dagger that only his relative or some reason the lady's the only one who can fucking murder him, and so it's got a mishmash of stuff, but like the movie premise is really cool. The special effects are really cool. I really like this movie as a movie. Just like I really like Godzilla 98, but not as a Godzilla movie. I like it as a giant monster movie because it's a good giant monster movie. It's a terrible version of Godzilla, as an example. So I like the movie, but Godzilla in name only. Yeah. So, what
I
do you
like the
think?
idea that he becomes kind of like a spirit. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
hopping from one body to the next, just you know, doing his thing, doing the whole Jason thing.
Right, but that could have been just a reincarnated serial killer. That's all it could have been. It's another one of them reincarnated serial killer movies. In fact, I'd put it up there along with like Destroyer and Shocker, and there's a couple more I'm blanking on. First Power, Fallen, where it's like this guy dies and becomes like a supernatural entity that can either hot bodies or, in the case of Shocker, travel through electricity, or it's a ghost that just murders people. Like I really like the resurrected serial killer like trope in slashers. I think they're fun. I think it's a fun premise, and I feel like this definitely took that premise and went with out into left field with it, and then added Jason.
Yeah, and then at the end of it, I'm not gonna give away the big spoiler, but it's not that much of a spoiler because they made a movie based on concept after the fact, but you know.
It was his half niece apparently. That's his relation.
And, at the very end of the movie, you know, I'm not gonna say what happens. It's just like I'm sure at the time, if I had watched it at the time, I would have been like, "Whoa, cool! They're gonna do this thing," and now knowing what it actually became, I'm like, "Oh, yay!" You know.
That's great.
Not very excited anymore because I've already seen that and wasn't a fan. Was not a fan.
So yeah, I like Jason Goes to Hell. Once again, I think it's a solid, fun movie to watch. But I understand why Friday the 13th super fans hate it. I don't hate it in one bit. I
don't hate it.
It's good. I'll probably watch it again.
Really
and I found out. So I also found out that there was a replacement disc. And when it came in, I replaced my DVD with the Blu-ray, and so now I have two Blu-ray. Or no, my bonus disc. My bonus disc got chucked, so now I just have two disc ones. It's fun. It's great. I hate myself. That's what I get for not reading. I'm a big dummy. I have big dummy energy. I try to tell people I'm a big fucking idiot, and no one listens to me. And then I just do that shit, and you're like, wow, you're fucking dumb. Like, I know. Next we watched. I'm stop making fun of myself now. Then we watched 13 Women, which is a 1932 proto slasher. Actually, it's a very early slasher. It's, I would say it's barely a slasher, but it's definitely you can definitely see elements that would slowly evolve over the decades into what became slashers. You know. Did you have any recollection of this one?
Not really, no. I was actually looking it up right now because I'm trying to remember.
So 13 women who are schoolmates are asked a swami to cast their horoscopes, and the news that they receive is not good for any of them, apparently. I remember correctly, like, tell them all they're all going to die in various ways, and then they die in those various ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Like, I really fucking enjoyed it. Well, and I'm kind of have a soft spot for proto slashers, because I love slasher movies, but more than anything, I love looking at the roots of what made a slasher movie. What was that movie we watched? Is it Paranoiac? Is that the one where all it was one scene, POV, where he puts a mask on and stabs somebody to death or whatever, and that's what made it a proto slasher? I think that was Paranoiac.
I can't remember.
Fair enough. Let me scroll back. We didn't review it all that long ago. It was this year for sure. Last month, maybe a month before.
It's like there's so many movies. I won't look at. There's not like a whole lot of movies that we've been watching that are like proto slashes, right?
Nope, not a lot.
But like we've been watching enough from that era, from like the 30s and 40s, that it's just like all mixing together for me. Like just can't remember which is which.
Maybe we didn't talk about it, and that's because it's not
I
showing up the list.
remember.
But we so far this year we haven't actually watched a lot of pro slashers. We watched The Old Dark House from 19. Which year was that? 32 also, and we watched Trauma from 1978. And I think we watched actually one other one, but like we just
The one with the leopard guy, leopard man.
oh, the Leopard Man. Yeah, that was a pro slasher too. Thank you. And Shock is almost. I feel like Shock was basically a pro slasher. But yeah, it's Paranoiac. Found it. Okay. The search is over. I have one. All right, next, did you want to talk about John Carpenter's Vampires, aka John Carpenter's Supernatural Rio Bravo?
I still need to watch Rio Bravo to understand that reference.
We didn't watch 13 Women. We watched 13 Frightened Girls. 13 Women. Oh, it's 13 Women. I thought it was 13 Frightened Girls. I got mixed up. Sorry. Never mind. Continue. You go.
Okay.
Yeah. I fucked up.
Vampires. I remembered watching this on TV at least a couple times when I was a kid, and thinking it wasn't too bad. It was somewhat enjoyable. I thought it was at the time a little boring.
Mm-hmm.
Now I like it a lot more. I won't say I like it so much more that it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's definitely John Carpenter nearing the period where
he's exhausted.
He's tired. He's done.
He's done dealing with studio bureaucracy, and you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically just giving in to demand so he can just get the fucking job done, get his check, and go home, play some video games, because the guy likes playing video games, right? And guess what? He made like 20 fucking classic movies. He's allowed to cash out and just earn a paycheck for a while. I don't blame him one bit. Now he's got a renaissance as like this amazing musician. He's always been revered for his music, but like he's having this renaissance. And he's making albums and touring with his like son and his friends, and like that's so fucking cool. I'm so happy for him because you could tell for a while there he was really bitter about. You can tell he's really bitter because he literally said in an interview, "I don't give a fuck if they remake my movies as long as they put a check in my hand." And that comes from a bitter man. That's a bitter man.
Yeah.
He was tired of fucking Hollywood, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's what drives me nuts. And I know, in fact, it drove him nuts because you can hear him get riled up when someone brings it up. He made all these movies that are considered veritable classics right now. When they came out, they bombed. He was never appreciating his time. Every single movie of his is a cult classic, except for The Thing. Even it bombed, but it became quickly a classic. Before the end of the 80s, it was considered a classic. But, like, the rest, a lot of those movies didn't get their glow up till the 90s. 2000s, when the home video market really boomed. You know? And we got special features where we can listen to commentaries. And, like, They Live has always kind of had a small cult following because it played on TV all the time, but it wasn't considered a classic until the internet became a thing, basically. And people started going, why do people hate this movie? And everyone's like, I don't, and I don't. And they realize very few people hate this movie, actually.
I do remember people saying that it was a bad movie a lot back in the 90s.
So wrong.
And saying it was just so, the plot device is just so cheesy with the glasses and everything.
What?
And just,
Oh, God. Some people.
Okay, whatever.
My favorite, i.e., the thing that gets me most heated when someone says it wasn't realistic or it wasn't believable. I'm like, it has vampires in it. Where's your line of believability? It has vampires in it.
But vampires.
I want John Carpenter to not direct a movie. I want him to continue doing music. Stay the fuck away from the camera. Your last 4 movies were not good.
Oh my God, The Ward.
The Ward, you can tell he's still fucking exhausted. He doesn't have the fire anymore. He's not hungry for it. You know what he's hungry for? Making music. That's what I want him doing. Keep following your passions, Mr. Carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
I would be, but if he has a passion idea and he wants to do it, I'm not going to say no, but I'm just saying, like, I am not worried if he doesn't ever direct a movie again. He made, like I said, like 20 straight bangers. Like, it's like being mad at Metallica for putting out crap albums when they made like 7 amazing straight albums. Like, I I cannot listen to their music, their newest stuff, but I can't get mad at them for that. I can get mad at Lars for fucking DMCA shit, but everything else, I'm cool with.
It's like, I'm mad at you because of all the shit you did with Napster and everything.
He's actively made the internet a worse place.
Yeah.
He was a very important spearhead and face of the DMCA movement to get that passed in the early 2000s because of Napster, late 90s, early 2000s. But anyway, and so if it weren't for celebrity backing of that, it wouldn't have happened the way it did. We could have come the better solution than this bullshit that we can't fucking use can't even use clips on these fucking sites. Even though I can use a clip from anything for 5 seconds to illustrate a thing I'm talking about. Legally speaking, I can sample 5 seconds from a movie.
But if you try to actually do that, they'll just take it down. It's like,
yeah. They'll ban your account. I'm like, that's ridiculous. You're literally suppressing a whole kind of art, and it's atrocious, and I hate it. The DMCA is the worst thing that ever happened to the internet. Republicans being the second.
Well, I thought I was going to be the one to make this political, but
we already made it political. We were talking earlier about politics. All right.
That's true.
Okay. So vampires. My thing about vampires is none of the characters are remotely likable. Clearly, that's the intention, but it makes it hard to really latch onto somebody and experience a movie through a perspective, right? For some people, me myself included, sometimes I don't hold it against the movie, mind you, but it's one of those things. I wanted everyone to die, everyone, the vampire hunters, especially the priest. Fuck that guy. You know?
Yeah, you're definitely not supposed to like anybody in that movie.
No, of course not. And it's 100% is a neo-western. It's literally a bunch of black hat cowboys running around the desert, dueling each other, killing each other, shooting each other's posses up. Essentially, in this case, it's staking vampires and ripping each other's throats out. But I have firmly rated for decades now. Vampires is a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's any worse than 7 out of 10 because it's a John Carpenter film. He's still in his prime here. Is it the end of his prime? Absolutely. This and then Ghosts of Mars and then. I mean, you can see it in Escape from L.A. It's he basically just remade his own movie. You know? And in some ways it's better, in other ways it's worse.
I feel like maybe he drags in some of his distaste for and bitterness into vampires, but in that way that all the characters are unlikable. And that's what makes...
I think you're right.
Makes it work as a movie, a John Carpenter movie. Is that even though it's gonna, turn a lot of other people off, audiences off, it's they're still believable characters. Even if you fucking hate them, they're still believable characters because it's easier for anybody to fucking believe that all these people are fucking assholes. Of course they would be,
Yeah. For me. So he does In the Mouth of Madness, and then he does Village of the Damned and Escape from LA, which I think are both misses as movies. Then he does Vampires and Ghosts of Mars, and then he does Cigarette Burns, which is a great short film for the Masters of Horror. Then he did Pro-Life, which is a decent short film, and then he does The Ward, and he's done. At that point, he's just done. But he did Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, Christine, Starman, Big Trouble in Little China, They Live. That's just 9 movies right there that are no one can deny they're classics in the genre they're in.
The Ward was kind of sad, to be honest.
I felt
because there is no spirit in that movie, none. It is the absence of spirit, and
it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because John Carpenter was basically my first horror dad, He's the one who... It's Halloween is the movie that got me into horror movies. He's been... John Carpenter's been so instrumental in my love of movies in general that like watching the ward, I was left a little sad because I'm like, he doesn't have the fire anymore. He's not hungry for it. And it's not like it was badly shot or anything. It just had no life, right? It's like a 5 out of 10 from a director who could easily put out a 7 out of 10 without trying. You know, but he's really not trying, and you can definitely see the nihilistic streak. I would say Ghosts of Mars and Vampires are both incredibly nihilistic. He's incredibly done with the world, and I think that's why all the characters in those movies are just reprehensible to the nth degree.
Yeah.
You know,
The bitterness shines.
yeah, Rosie,
through
you
in those
know,
movies.
John Carpenter is fucking awesome. You can cuss here, you're fine. Favorite movie's The Thing. Yes, The Thing is awesome. I'm sure your dad loves the fact that you love The Thing. Yeah, you're allowed to cuss here. I don't give a fuck.
So anyways,
I'm not your
Next-
dad. I ain't gonna police your language. None of my business.
next movie. Well, our dad also doesn't police your language.
That's also true, actually. Do you want to talk about the Elvis movie with Nancy Sinatra at the Speedway, or do you want to pass?
I'm gonna be honest with you. The second that you said Speedway, I thought of the fucking Static X song, and no.
Okay, so
That tells me immediately I have no interest in this.
we did the Hammer horror Phantom of the Opera. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
'Cause I only have vague memories of that. I mean, I rated it, I think 7 out of 10. Yeah, 7 out of 10. But like, it just didn't commit to my memory. It happens sometimes. Some
But
movies
I've
stick and some
seen-
movies don't.
I've seen 3 Phantom of the Opera movies. I've seen the 1925 Lon Chaney Phantom of the Opera, which is absolute classic. If you're gonna see any of them, see that one.
Absolutely.
I've seen the 1943 one that Universal did later on. I think they were both Universal, but the 43 one is the one that I think most people would be familiar with because it's on all the Universal horror sets, the classic horror sets.
Mm-hmm.
That one is okay, and there's like 1 or 2 really good sets in it, but other than that, it's just personally to me not a very good Phantom of the Opera. This one, the Hammer horror one, I would say actually in a lot of ways rivals the Lon Chaney one for being really good, for taking an approach in the way that they tell the story that I found, for me at least, I found engrossing and interesting. And there was almost like a hint of a political message in it all that I was like really digging, because I'm like, oh shit, this isn't something you get from the other Phantom of the Operas as much, But in this one, it was like just standing out to me like big flashing lights,
So, sorry, I thought you were done.
I really enjoyed it.
I remember the costumes and the lighting and the acting being all very standout, but I couldn't point to anything. Like, there's nothing wrong with the movie. It's not the movie's fault. I just don't always commit memories, and it's been 3 weeks since we watched it. So, I have seen the original 1925 Phantom, which I adore. Absolutely adore. 8 out of 10 on that one. I have seen the 1962 one, to 7. I have not.
Domain, by the way, guys.
I have not seen the 1943 Phantom of the Opera. I have it on Blu-ray. Just haven't watched it yet. I've seen the Phantom of the Opera musical, which I did not like. And then I have seen Phantom of the Opera from 1989 with Robert Lundgren. Wrong one. Robert Lundgren. Robert Englund, Dolph Lundgren. Not Dolph Lundgren. I just combined their names, though. Robert Englund. I actually didn't like that one either. I love Phantom of Paradise. I love Darkman. I love Popcorn. I love Dario Argento's opera, which are all Phantom of the Operas, in case anyone's curious. Darkman is, what if the Phantom of the Opera was and Batman fucked? That's basically Darkman.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Oh, the only reason why Darkman happened was because Raimi was trying to get to do the next Batman film, and he hired Joel Schumacher instead, and so he decided to go and fucking make his own superhero movie. Originally, he wanted to do Spider-Man originally. The rights in Spider-Man were all tangled up because it's a canon debacle still. So he made his own character, Darkman, And then later he did Spider-Man, so it's kind of like it came from the
Like,
personal.
listen to the music in Darkman and tell me that she doesn't have a point. Tell me.
I know I have. I know I'm right because I've he's fucking said it
Like, that music
in
is
in
dead on
interviews.
fucking Batman. And there's a reason it's the same fucking musician, the same composer did the music for both Darkman and Batman. So,
Danny Elfman?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna look now. 'Cause it's been a really long time since I even looked at the
I'm
cast list. I saw it a
guess
few
I
years ago.
could be wrong, but I'm like 90% sure.
No, you're right. Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
Good brain. Your brain functioned.
Yay! Oh my
Hooray!
god. It wasn't functioning just like 10 minutes ago, but it you come through, brain. You did it again.
You did it good for once, brain. Do you want to talk about In the Earth? Because I can't remember much of it because there's a lot of flash imagery, which makes it hard for me to
Oh
remember.
yeah.
It's not as bad as A Field in England, but there's a lot of.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me that you
I love this
um,
feeling like his work.
you love this guy's work, but you just can't watch it because the flashing imagery just
It's
makes it
hard
so,
for me to commit the memories because
yeah.
I'm fighting
Yeah.
my brain's fight or flight mode because the flashing imagery fucks with me because I'm autistic.
Mhm.
Like it truly, like it, and I don't usually get bothered with flashing imagery, but this is rapid fire. I mean, like,
This one was worse than Field and England.
you think so? I think Field of England had a lot.
No.
Field of England, I felt like had a lot more imagery.
The Field in England one was like going between two different scenes and flashing like that. This one is literally flashing lights throughout like a good third of the movie. And I mean like a good third of the movie. 30 minutes of it is just flashing lights. Like it's a bit much. Not all at once, mind you. It's not a 30-minute chunk of it, but you know, there's a lot of flashing lights in this movie.
Both movies deal with people lost in the wilderness taking psychedelics.
Yeah, that's one thing I noted. Like, this person really has a thing for mushrooms.
Ben Wheatley, by the way, is the name of the director. But yeah,
Wheatley has an interest, at least, in the subject. I don't know what else, what more there is to say about that because I don't know.
I feel like In the Earth is almost a continuation of A Field in England in some ways. I wonder if they're actually related in some way, and I just couldn't connect them. Ben Wheatley also did Free Fire, High Rise, Rebecca, Kill List, and The Sightseers. So he's done quite in Happy New Year. He's done quite a swath of different genres. I find his horror. I have only seen those two horror films and his segment in ABC's of Death, but I like what I've seen a lot, which is why I keep coming back to it, even though it keeps upsetting my brain. Because he has some interesting things to say, and my brain just doesn't want to listen.
It's more that like because of the flashing imagery, it just makes it hard to commit to memory.
Oh yeah, if I had epilepsy, I'd be fucked.
Control. Like, I mean,
yeah, it's something I can control exactly. I've had epilepsy, I'd be fucked because I encounter so many things with flash images. Like it's truly ableist world. I feel super bad for like people with, like really severe epilepsy or like easily triggered or whatever, because like they can hardly watch movies these days with the fucking way that they're edited, and I feel super bad because they're basically being excluded, which is bullshit. Anyway, sorry, I'll get off my soapbox.
Same time, I don't want to tell the guy he can't direct a movie that way because
Of course not. I will let people do, but I want a flashing image warning at the beginning. That's all I want.
Yeah, I think the thing is like
That's all.
Disorientation is something that like a lot of filmmakers want to do, but there's a good kind of disorientation that you can do just by like, you know, confusing people with how the story is told when certain things are put out
jumbling the order or
yeah, exactly. And then there's a bad disorientation where like people are going to have an issue being able to even remember what they're seeing and could potentially have even far worse issues just because it's so utterly jarring. And it's like you can. What I'm saying is, you can be jarring and not be as jarring as what he's done in these movies.
I mean, like I said, I don't really give a fuck what he does. It's his art. But like,
Yeah.
all I ask is filmmakers, please put a fucking warning at the front. That's it.
Mhm.
I think it's not much to ask. Just a little, hey, if flash images bother you, you might not like this. Okay, thanks. Now when I watch it, it's on me. I still watched it. It's my choice now. Running
I
into,
would have still watched it.
Ben Wheatley film, yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
I like what he has. I like what he does. I like what he has to say with his movies. So until I find out he's like a monster or something, I'm gonna keep watching his movies. That's what it boils down to. Do you want to talk about Hider in the House?
Oh my god.
First up,
fucking...
this is the last movie Gary Busey is in before he has a car accident or motorcycle accident and becomes a rat meme that you all know.
Didn't you say that actually happened before the movie was shot?
No, it's before it came out.
Oh, okay.
He shot it. It happened. The movie came out. Because
Right.
they shoot it, and then back then it was like there's a 6-month turnaround of editing, scoring, workshopping it with a fucking audience, editing some more, making other changes. Like there's reshoots, etc., etc. I doubt there were reshoots on this movie. This is a pretty tight production, and I actually really fucking like this movie.
It felt like I hate using the word movie of the week, but
It did feel like a TV movie.
A TV movie that they would put on like Lifetime, except with a much higher production quality than a Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
At that time. So, and quite frankly, if it were a Lifetime movie, I would say it's probably the best of them because it's actually quite good. And Gary Busey
let's remember,
is fucking fantastic in this role.
it was supposed to be released theatrically, but Vestron Pictures went broke, and it was sold. The rights were sold, and it was released direct to VHS. That's what's going on here. So it's not a direct to video. It's not a TV movie. It's a direct to video movie. It's an early direct to video movie, and it feels like a direct to video movie or a TV movie, as you say. It does feel more like a TV movie though, but the way like the film stock is and the pacing. And it's actually very clean. I think it's only like a PG-13 film.
Yeah, so for those who don't know...
It's R. It's rated R somehow. Was there nudity? I can't remember. I think there are boobs, actually.
Yeah, probably.
Sorry. I'll stop interrupting.
I mean, we do have a lot of scenes where Gary Busey's literally just, like, peeping on people. I think it's very possible that there were boobs in this, and I just don't remember because I don't really care about that much. Not that I don't like boobs, but that like it's not the first thing I think of when I think of a fucking movie. Anyways,
you know, right?
Busey,
It's like the last thing I remember is were there boobs in this movie?
Gary Busey plays a character who just got out of an asylum.
Was it an asylum or was it asylum? Was it prison?
Or a mental hospital.
I thought he left prison.
Oh, you're right. It was a prison.
Yeah, it was prison. Yeah.
Mental hospital. But, well,
the exterior is definitely a prison, regardless of what it was supposed to be.
Insane or whatever. But yeah, he had just gotten out and he was trying to, start his life over. But, they think that he's got an idea and a good grasp on reality and how you're supposed to live your life and everything. But he clearly fucking doesn't. And so what does he do? He's like, okay, I got to find a house to live in and, I got to start a family because that's what's expected of me in this society. So I'm going to move into this house that these other people are moving into and live in the attic without them knowing I am there.
Yep.
And I'm going to creepily, stalk them and come out at night and walk around their house and look at all their shit.
Right? It's like that deep fear that someone's within your walls. It's basically that.
Yes, yes. It's on Amazon Prime, by the way. You can watch it right now.
And there's no, so like I was saying, Gary Busey suffered his head injury after this, so he doesn't do any of the erratic things like he does in movies after this movie. He is still full on unhinged, but it's a much more calculated Unhinged and less wild, unpredictable Unhinged.
Yeah.
He's much more unpredictable now as a person, and as an actor. His characters are always like frenetic and wild, because head trauma does that to you.
Yeah.
Oh man, my shoulder's killing me right now.
But yeah, I think like even with that considered, he was the perfect choice for this role.
Oh, absolutely. This movie was made for him, literally.
Who was it who played the father character again? I can't remember. I remember the guy is like a well-known character actor who played the actual father.
Michael McKean?
Yeah, Michael McKean, that guy.
Mimi Rogers was the mom, too.
Oh, yeah. Kept confusing with somebody else who's like
He did.
pedo, but
he did.
Michael
He
McKean
kept
is
fucking it
not.
up.
Michael McKean is not that person.
Jeffrey Jones is who he kept fucking up.
Yeah. So, anyways, I recommend it. I think it's very cheesy. If you're not into cheesy movies, you might not like it.
Yeah,
but,
it's a bit low budget, so I gave it 6 out of 10, which I think is a very fair score.
If you can look beyond that and appreciate a good, really creepy Gary Busey, then yeah.
If this is on Blu-ray, I might pick this up. I mean, I liked it that much.
I would definitely pick it up. I'm glad to hear that I was glad to hear it was Vestron too, because it's like maybe they'll do a release of it.
Vestron Pictures? I don't know if they're related. I don't know if the rights to them are like related to each other. Like, I don't know if they were separate entities, one after the other, and maybe.
Either way,
whatever.
I'll take a Vestron release. I'll take an Arrow release. I'll take a Vincent release. I'll take.
This is perfect for Vinegar Syndrome, actually.
Yeah.
This is 1000% in Vinegar Syndrome like release. If they release, it'd be perfect. Oh. Yeah, and all the DVDs are like $100. Wow, this movie is very out of print. Got it.
So watch it while you can on Amazon. Who knows what it's going to be pulled off? Amazon doesn't tell anything.
Sometimes they do, actually. I'm going to look right now.
They don't make any announcements or advertisements about it. Like Netflix at least will tell journalists, hey, this is leaving this month, and then journalists will do their fucking here's what's leaving Netflix this month article,
Yeah.
But Amazon doesn't do that. So
True.
You just have to be looking at your list at the right time to see, oh, this is leaving in a week.
Or do I do it and just click on the watch it now stream thing and go right to the page and see if it's set? Because it'll tell you within about a week. It'll tell you that's leaving in a week underneath it, but on the page, but not anywhere else.
You got to be more careful with Amazon. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. You're not wrong.
Yeah. It's definitely one to watch, I think. Anyways. What was the next one?
The Apostle.
The Apostle. The Apostle.
That was the one by the guy who did The Raid and The Raid 2 and Murintal. All very good martial arts films. It stars Dan Stevens. He's visiting an island because he's trying to find his sister who's been kidnapped by some cultists.
Oh.
It's got really strong Wicker Man vibes.
I was like, yeah, now I remember.
It's Wicker Man, but with like martial arts, and Dan Stevens makes some really poor choices.
It really is a Wicker Man, a different take on Wicker Man.
It's really good. I really fucking like this movie. I'm owning this one too at some point.
There's nothing wrong with it at all. I loved it. I was just smiling because like, oh yeah, I love that. Of course, the reminder of how it's like a Wicker Man kind of thing going on is what would remind me of what the movie was about. Would conjure the images of the movie into my head. Like, oh yeah, there's the witch that's in the basement. Yeah. This is a wild one. It's a very fucking wild one, and there is some really disturbing, fucked up body horror in this.
There's quite a bit of gore, like broken arm, like severed, like
Needless.
guts ripped out.
Getting really upset.
Yeah. About what?
I remember.
Oh, I got upset because he made a choice that.
Needlessly violent. Yeah.
No, he made a choice that got someone killed that he should have not get killed. That one character Remember? That's what I got angry about.
Characters, that's right.
I was angry at the character's choice because if he had just taken care of the problem when it first presented itself, the character would probably still be alive. That's like, that's... And I get it. The character made a mistake. But, like, it was frustrating. Fuck. I broke it. Where did I break? What?
It's also like, this is what happens in cults. This is always what happens in cults.
I mean, I had the same reaction to Eden Lake, which is a very intense, very harrowing film. And there's one moment that happens, I'm like, why would you just give jump? What? And just the character choice just baffled me. Something it was incongruous to something like I feel like the character would have done, you know, based on what I've seen that before. But like, that movie is so good. The ending haunts me. I literally will randomly think about this one character's anguished, pained, dying screams for the rest of my fucking life. This movie, that Eden Lake, was incredible. You should see it. It's incredible. But I don't know if I could ever watch it again. Apostle had a mistake like that, but it didn't leave me scarred, personally, forever. You know? I was just like, God damn it, why'd you do that? If you'd done this, blah, 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 blah. That being said, God, what a great movie. I had so much fun watching it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It almost made it 8 out of 10. That character's choice, that took half a star away. I couldn't.
Really fucked up, some really fucked up scenes in this movie.
But yes, other Gareth Evans films are Gareth Evans. It's Gareth Edwards, Gareth Evans. I can't remember which is which. One does the Godzilla franchise, and one does fucking kung fu movie. Anyway, all of his movies, Raid 2, Murder, are exceedingly violent with the martial arts because it's meant to be more realistic and visceral. That's this movie to a T.
I don't even know if I remember seeing any like martial arts or anything.
Dead Sea's martial arts the fuck out of dude's hands and legs throughout this fucking movie, dude. He's literally doing martial arts. He gets in a fist fight more than once and beats the fuck out of some people's. It's not like the Raid where it's
incredibly slow paced compared to a martial arts film.
Yes, it is not a martial arts film. The character just knows martial arts. There's a difference. He does martial arts when he engages in kind of that, but it is definitely a slower burn film. I really fucking like it.
That's what I'm trying to say is like,
God.
You know, don't go into it expecting it to be like the Raid.
It's not. The Raid's incredible. I don't think there'll ever be another movie like the Raid or the Raid 2. Like, I need to rewatch those. Do you own those?
Yeah.
You know, dig those out so you can rewatch them.
I never saw the Raid 2. I know I saw the Raid.
Oh, the Raid 2 is like better in some ways and worse in others. You know how it is. Uh-oh. Did I just break something? No, okay.
What'd you do?
I broke it!
What'd you do?
I broke it! Next we did The Hunger. From 1983, starring David Bowie and Susan Sarandon. Is that right? Is that who it was? Yeah, Susan Sarandon and Catherine Deneuve. I can't say her name. I'm sorry. Who was it? There was something. Wasn't there a character? I was like, hey, Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe. Very, very young Willem Dafoe is in this.
Yeah.
This is a Tony Scott film, so I think it's his first movie. It's an incredibly gay vampire movie that I highly recommend and deeply love. It's an 8-star banger with a favorite icon added.
What was that movie with the twins again? The one by David Cronenberg. I can't remember what it was called though.
Oh no, that was Sisters, and it was not David Cronenberg. It was what's his face? De Palma, Brian De Palma. You're thinking about Sisters, the twins, the conjoined twins. One's a crazy one, one's just.
No, this was like set in New York City or whatever, and they were twin doctors and.
Twin doctors?
Yeah, they were.
Oh, that was Dead Ringers.
Dead Ringers, yeah.
No, we watched Dead Ringers and Sisters, 2 movies about twins that are horror.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, actually.
I was gonna say. The vibe of The Hunger is right in line with the vibe of Dead Ringers, and I think you could watch the two
Interesting.
together quite comfortably.
I feel like Sisters and Dead Ringers is an obvious double bill. That
Oh yeah.
they work on the same same vibe, so it works out really well. Uh, but The Hunger, 1983. Wow, what a great and interesting take of on vampirism. And there's a moment when you realize, and this is only a mild spoiler, that the vampire never really dies, even after it's like shriveled up. And then they get put in these caskets and then closed up, and that's death to them. Is they're infinitely, forever immobile in a casket. Because that's what happens to the vampires. They get so old they just become immobile.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just like, what? So, anyways, that was like one of the coolest aspects of the mythology I thought that they added was that, yeah, you get eternal life, but you don't get to live the entire time.
That's not a good thing. That's a curse.
Yeah, it's a curse by the end. It's a gift at the beginning that turns into a curse, you know? It's like that monkey's paw. It gives you a thing, but then the thing becomes bad. Except it's your whole life. And now you're in a casket for eternity. Yeah. What are you going to say something?
I this movie's gonna stick with me for a while. I think it was a very good movie.
100%.
Very, very well directed. I think it might even be probably Tony Scott's best work, or at least some of it. Like, this is way better than what I was even expecting. I love a lot of the stuff that Tony Scott did, but at the same time, it's just like there's a lot of the stuff that he did was just basically, 6 out of 10 Hollywood fare. Just
I would say,
completely honest about it.
my personal opinion, my favorite, and I think the best Tony Scott film was Man on Fire, the extended cut. Because what an incredible meditation on revenge. Like, and the toll it takes on a person, how far someone will go for revenge. That movie is like top shelf, grade A. It belongs in the Criterion Collection, and I'm not being hyperbolic.
Yeah.
It's that good. He also did Enemy of the State, which I think is entirely underrated.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I see those and I see like, maybe it's just because it's the genre that I'm not a huge fan of, but this is
He did The Fan, oddly
I'm
enough.
a huge fan of, so, yeah.
I've only seen, there's only 4 movies he did that I haven't seen yet. I've almost seen all his movies.
But yeah, this one was very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it and I'm thinking about it now, and I'm thinking
Hunger
about
was his
how,
first
like,
movie.
if I compare it to other vampire movies, I might
You can't.
it's hard to.
Yeah.
It's like I might in some ways compare it to Interview with the Vampire, but that this would be way fucking better than that.
100%.
It's better than Interview with the Vampire. And I feel like I didn't even know this movie existed. I didn't even know this movie was a thing until like Sean mentioned it a couple months ago, and that's when I picked it up for him, but I didn't pick it up for myself because I had never heard of it.
Now you will.
Now I regret not picking it up because holy shit.
You will.
Really good. Yeah, I will.
Just on Amazon right now, probably for $17.
Yeah.
Not that bad. Then we did Murder Mountain. Do you want to talk about that or no?
I didn't really like that one. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it per se, but like, just wasn't my jam. I don't think.
So it's by Joshua Zeman. He did 2 documentaries we absolutely adored, which was Cropsy and Killer Legends. He did Son of Sam, the Descent into Darkness, which was really good true crime. Then he did Murder Mountain. What I feel about Murder Mountain is there's no focus in the documentary.
Yeah.
It's 6 episodes, and it's just 6 disparate episodes. I almost feel like you couldn't find a coherent through line while editing and decided to just break it up by subject. Which is not necessarily a bad way to go about it, because it is a series of 6 episodes. But I feel like this is his worst work so far, considering how good Cropsy and Killer Legends are. I mean, those movies are excellent. Cropsy is so good because it's a documentary that has found footage elements in it. So literally, they go into this place where the Cropsy Legend's supposed to have happened, right? And it's a camera, just like a fucking following them like Blair Witch style. And so there's like it's like a documentary with found footage elements to it. Cropsy's amazing. Murder Mountain was okay. I'm gonna skip the Bray Road Beast because I have nothing to say about that.
Murder Mountain was okay indeed. What I would say about Murder Mountain is that I felt like this story would be way better told as like a fictional adaptation than more than a non-fictional look at what happened, because it's like the non-fictional look at what happened still very interesting, and just to learn about all this stuff that's happening in real life. But it's like I just couldn't help but envision like this could be the next Breaking Bad. If somebody chose to make this into a fucking TV series, it could easily be the next Breaking Bad.
I made a joke that everyone kept getting killed, so we're like, it's like Game of Thrones of weed.
It really is.
Inside of houses, it's different growers.
It's not we need to cook, it's Jesse, we need to grow.
Right? I Married a Witch, 1942, Renee Claire, Frederick Mark, Veronica Lake.
I vaguely remember it.
All right, we'll skip it. I like. Okay, so I gave it a 7 out of 10. That's all I remember from it. I liked it at the time, but nothing stuck because we watched a bunch of movies after that too. Next, Lisa and the Devil, aka the House of Exorcism, Mario Bava film. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
The dream logic and the interesting color palettes.
It wasn't my favorite Mario Bava, I'll say that much, but it wasn't terrible either. It's a good movie. I don't know what else to say about it, honestly.
I'm actually very interested in seeing the House of Exorcism version because it's a completely different cut of the movie with additional footage with like a priest to cash in on exorcists. And I think it'd be it'd be really interesting in the future. I always want to do a spotlight where we just talk about one movie in depth, scene by scene, beat by beat, or whatever. Just not as an every episode thing, but like once a month. I would love to just take one movie and we just spend an hour just deconstructing every fucking thing about it, right? Least and the Devil is one of those movies because there's a lot of interesting visuals. It's all dream logic, and I feel like watching both cuts and then doing a podcast on them. We do watch one cut, do part of the podcast, watch the other cut, do the other part of the podcast. You stitch it together later. I gave this an 8 out of 10. I really love the imagery in this. I mean, I really love the imagery in this. There was some really strange cuts that in a good way. You're just like, what? Oh, okay. Because someone's screaming and it cuts to the way it cuts is just, it feels like a jarring, not in a bad way, but just in a whoa, we're here now.
Yeah. I'm sure it's deserving of a rewatch because I think the dream logic kind of made it hard for me to follow. I don't know.
We also watched it at 1 in the morning.
Yes, I noticed that a lot of the movies we watch late at night, or at the end of the night, are the movies that I end up not remembering. So
I don't think we should be doing series at the end of the night. We should be doing 3 or 4 episodes of a series instead. If we don't talk about them, and then we're just enjoying ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I highly recommend Lisa and the Devil. Highly recommend it. I'm skipping the second to last thing. We're gonna talk Ouija, Origin of Evil, and then we're gonna double back to Midnight Mass.
Ouija.
Because we watched Midnight Mass over 2 days. We watched first 2 episodes the first night, and the rest of the episodes the next night. Only because I was getting tired and I wanted to. We watched the movie to break it up. That was when we did Lisa and the Devil, and we broke. That was the breakup. Because I did not log Midnight Mass until we finished the last episode. That's how it works when I do miniseries. So when it's logged on Letterboxd, it's not the time we started it. It's the time we finished it. As an example. So At Least in the Devil happened in the middle of Midnight Mass. Ouija, Origin of Evil. I have never seen the first Ouija. I don't give a fuck. Oh, actually, I take it back. I found out we had seen the first Ouija together in like 2015, and I can't remember a fucking thing about it. And there's no.
I don't remember much about it either.
I rated it 4 stars apparently out of 10.
I just remember thinking, "Wow, this is not good."
Which is 2 stars on Letterboxd. I remember not liking it either. I think I remember actually now I remember we actually watched Ouija and Oculus in the same night, back to back. I remember that now.
Ironic as fuck, right?
Right? Because now we're watching the sequel, which is directed by the guy who did Oculus, who's the guy who did Midnight Mass and the Haunted of Bly Manor and Hill House.
Wow.
Right?
Mike Flanagan.
He
made the right choice. We were right all along.
Yeah.
Ouija sucked.
Ouija.
We thought originally Ouija sucked, but Oculus is pretty good.
Oculus is like a 7 out of 10 for me. I really liked it.
And bam, look what happens. The guy who made Ouija, who fucking cares? The guy who...
The only movie they ever did, actually.
Mike Flanagan, up the ladder.
Yeah, and he's already working on the next thing. And Midnight Mass is something... Here's my favorite part about this, is I found that we were watching Midnight Mass. Midnight Mass is something he's been trying to get made for like a decade. And so, all these things he's done, Bly Manor, Hill House, Ouija Origin of Evil, all of the movies he's done, Hush, right? All the ones prior have a copy of Midnight Mass in it. And in the movie Hush, there's a scene where 2 people are talking, and she's like, yeah, oh, I just finished Midnight Mass. It was great. And Riley and Aaron, oh my God, my whole heart. And I'm like, ah! They literally referenced it a whole like 3 years before he finally got to make it. But the book's in the background in almost all of Flanagan's movies, so it's like in shows.
Another thing that's in the background of almost all of his movies is the Oculus mirror.
Apparently, I have not seen it in anything else but Oculus. I didn't see it in Bly Manor. I didn't see it. I knew I was looking for it. I just didn't see it, and I didn't see it in Hill House. But I haven't watched either of those a second time, and I'm not necessarily ready for Bly Manor to completely obliterate my existence for a fucking month. Because the last time I watched Bly Manor, I was fucking depressed. It was so beautiful, so sad, so depressed.
I feel like Bly Manor is something you watch at the end of the spooky season to cap it all off, you know?
Yeah. Like, what I want to know...
Fun, now go into your depressive spiral.
Why does Mike Flanagan hate gay people? All those gay characters end up being miserable by the end of the movie. They are all either dead or miserable. Prove me wrong.
Haunting of Hill House, the gay character survives.
Oh, once! The precedent is still set in 3 of his things.
She's also one of like the strongest characters, but she also has the most poignant line, in my opinion, in that series.
Which is?
It's a line about death, and I'm like, oh my God, that's like dead on. It's like, oh my God. And she has that moment with Mr. Smiley in the fucking basement on the couch. That just like...
I need to rewatch all those.
Oh my God, they went in that fucking direction. Oh my God. But yeah.
Like, I really liked Haunted Hill House. Like, I really liked it, but Bly Manor, which is this exceedingly gay plot line, and the 2 amazing characters with an amazing love for each other. It just, it's fucking beautiful and heart-wrenching. And did I mention beautiful? It's beautiful. I deeply appreciate the strong LGBTQ characters who aren't just a fucking trope, okay? I appreciate the representation, don't get me wrong. I'm just making a joke that they all fucking have miserable lives or get killed.
But back to Ouija, Origin of Evil.
Yes, sorry. So it's just about his mom and her kids, and they like, fuck around. Her mom's like a one of them fake mediums who like pretends to talk to dead people to help give people like closure. That's her. That's what she says for herself.
Yeah.
So she's lying to herself. That's the whole thing about the movie. Is her character's baldly lying to her kids and herself. She's trying to see herself in the positive light, even though she's definitely swindling desperate people for money. But at one point, they get a Ouija board, and there's the 3 rules of the Ouija board. And what does Justin noted, and what does no one do in this entire movie? You're supposed to say goodbye. Not a single time, if you're using the Ouija board, does it say goodbye. It's rude to not say goodbye to a ghost who's trying to answer your questions for you. That's why you got angry. That's why the ghost haunted them. Because it refused to say goodbye.
Should have said goodbye.
Should have said goodbye.
But I will say this one is, I don't want to say rife with studio interference, but rather just with, this is definitely a studio film.
That's been,
kind of
there's
feel,
notes.
you
There's
know?
definitely been notes. There's stuff that I feel like it's been, that's definitely been, like, I feel like would have been different if you
I think to
work in
myself,
studio.
did Mike Flanagan really like the way that the ghost child whispering into the ear thing, did he really like how that looked? I don't think he did.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
I think that was the studio saying, this is the way we want it. This looks good to us.
Okay, so
And he's just like, okay.
as the title implies, Ouija Origin of Evil is a prequel, so you can watch it first, and at the end credits, I guess, is referencing
and then you can ignore the first one.
Yeah, I remember the scary grandma was the only good part of the first movie, and she's the main character of this movie. She's the mom in this movie, and it's revealed. I mean, just spoiler alert. It's revealed that she's the old lady after the credits. Like,
yes.
I mean, it's such a minor thing because the whole movie is actually really good at the jump scares. It got me a few times. He did.
Yeah.
You know?
I like the story okay. There's nothing really great about it, but there's nothing offensive about it. There's nothing bad about it.
Yeah.
The concept for like what was quote unquote haunting the house or whatever the fuck was an interesting idea. It's been done in other horror movies, but it wasn't done poorly here either.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It
yeah.
kind of felt like it was a script that had already been written and produced into a movie, but they kind of rewrote it and reused it.
There were some
Repurposed it for this in a
there were
way.
some strong Witchboard vibes from this, like I was telling you during the
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
And I love Witchboard. I love both. I love both the first two movies. I've not seen the third one at all, so I can't comment.
I think it's
yeah.
If that's the case, if that's actually what happened, if I'm right on, like dead on with that, then it just goes to show how good of a filmmaker Mike Flanagan is.
Yeah.
But also, like, he. It also shows how, like, when he's held back by the studio,
Oh.
he the kind of stuff he can do is only going to be so good necessarily. When you see the stuff he does for a company like Netflix, where he has a lot more freedom, is it any wonder it's so much fucking better? I mean, it just is. Almost every time. I won't say every time, but almost every time it is. Because, I mean, depending on your opinion, Gerald's Game is either a hit or miss. I think it is a hit. I think, if I remember correctly, I gave that an 8 out of 10.
I haven't seen
But,
it. It's one of the ones I haven't seen.
I'd be willing to rewatch that.
Good, because you're gonna be watching that and Abstentia, because almost all of them are on streaming. So.
Yeah. But, yeah, as for Ouija Origin of Evil, this one I think is worth watching at least once.
At least I'll probably own this one. Honestly, I liked it enough.
Again, though, the original one, I remember asking, why is this getting a sequel? Because it wasn't very good, you know?
Made money.
And the answer, yeah, that's the answer.
It's always
horror
money.
movies. It's like, they make horror movies very cheaply, so that if they can get at least, you know, 50, 60
like,
million dollars out of it, it warrants doing a sequel.
They look at
know?
even like the bombing horror movies that like are making 19 million, and it's a bomb for like a $30 million horror film. But if then they go and they make a $5 million movie and it bombs at 19 million, but they did 3 times the business, so they'll make another one. But in this case, Ouija actually made quite a bit more money than 3 times his budget. But like, yeah, it was a fairly successful film for how mediocre it was. Ouija: Origin of Evil, I think, is actually a pretty stand-up horror movie. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
Like I said, some of the scares actually made me jump. That was kind of cool. Usually I'm just like, jump scare, but like...
But others that are okay.
Yeah, there's a few, like, look, there's a few things here and there that don't work. And, like, I'm pretty sure studio interference and all. Anyway, so last and finally, and not least, is Midnight Mass from 2021. It's 7 episodes, Netflix. About a small town. And
I really love this one.
I really loved it too. You can tell this is close to Planet's Heart. So if we were watching it, I'm like, wow, this is not even the 3rd time we've seen an addict in this movie, in one of his movies. And so we looked it up, and he's been clean for a few years. So part of that's that. It's partially based on the town he grew up in. And so, like, there's some, like small town horror is amazing. It's one of my favorite genres. And he probably captured it best than almost any of the other small town horror shows that have popped up in the last 10 years, honestly. I still have to watch a few of them, but like, yeah. This movie was so incredible.
It feels very Stephen King to me. Like, there are so many aspects of it that feel like very Stephen King. Not the least of which being that, like, it's set on an island that's like essentially off the coast of
New England somewhere.
New England area.
We suspect New York because they talk about it being not that far away. So
yeah,
but it could be New Jersey to be fair.
But either way, it's like it's clearly like
distance.
a kind of poor fishing community in the New England area. And what else is in the New England area? Derry, Maine. You know, like fucking. That's where all of fucking Stephen King's stories are shot. That are told from. Not all of them, but most of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's clearly there's inspiration from Stephen King. It shows his inspiration as the X-Files by having a Scully poster on the wall. But there's kind of like there's a bit of a Wicker Man vibe to this one because it's like it deals with religious fervor. It also vibes a bit with The Mist as an example. Very similar, like, subplot there. Someone, like, singling someone out because of blaming them because of, like, the weather or whatever. God, what a tremendous movie, though. Every single character that fucking hurt me. Every single one of them. So.
Yeah.
That's how much I cared about all these characters.
I will say there were elements that, like, in Haunting of Hill House, there were elements of this story that reminded me of Haunting of Hill House in many different ways. And part of that, I'm sure, is just because I recently rewatched Haunting of Hill House, so it's fresh in my mind. But also, just I noticed how, like, the main character is haunted by something from his past, right? And that is an element that you see in Haunting of Hill House as well. And in Haunting of Hill House, it all comes to a head in episode 5. And this, I would say the same kind of pattern follows. I don't know that it's all happening in episode 5.
No, but I think the most traumatic event happens in episode 5. Just like like the second to last episode of every Game of Thrones season is usually the most traumatic thing. And I love a show when I can fall in love with a character and then when their demise is met, it hurts. Because it means it's good. Like, there's a show called Hell on Wheels, and there's a character called Lily Bell who gets killed at some point. And she's going into the place, and you know, because the cinema language is telling us that this is it. You know something bad's going to happen, and when it happens, you're like, no, 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 no! And I was crushed. I was fucking devastated. That was such a great character and such an amazing show. I feel like they could have done so much with that character. Anyway, I feel like that the same character here, though it served a purpose.
Well,
I don't feel like it's
that's
something I would change. It's something I didn't like because I
part
like
of
the
my.
character.
Well, the reason I brought that character up though is because what happened, like, and how it relates to the Hill House character as well, and the way that the Hill House characters all seem to be haunted by one thing or another from Hill House,
Hmm.
you know. And in a very similar way, this character is haunted by something from his past, and it presents itself several times throughout the show as like a ghost almost from his past, right?
Hmm.
But in other stories that Mike Flanagan has told, where he has this idea of like somebody being haunted from their past, it all eventually comes to a head, and that thing from their past actually catches up to them. But I felt like in this story, it wasn't the thing that haunted him from his past that caught up to him. It was
Yeah.
something else entirely that happened to
It's
him.
because he was stuck in the past that he couldn't see the present, and that's what he got. That was his
Yeah,
minus.
yeah,
Joe, are you talking about the Joe character in particular?
yeah,
Because he does something to another character in the past that they mention, and you can tell this man is destroyed by this. He feels
yes,
immensely guilty, immensely guilty, to the point where he's basically drinking himself to death, and it's almost like performative.
Oh, I wasn't talking about Joe in this case, but
I know, but in
yeah.
this case, I'm talking about Joe. It's almost like
No.
performative. What's the self-flagellation? He's like drinking himself to death in the public eye to show he feels bad for what he's done, and I think that Joe is just a horribly damaged person. Like, and the world has
Yeah.
ground Joe down, and this is where Joe is. And I feel like I haven't seen Manchester by the Sea, but everyone talks about the being called Depression by the Sea. I
Yeah.
feel like this movie captures that. Everyone's got some level of depression going on here because they live on a tiny island, you know, with a
Yes.
small town on it, and that's it.
Yep. And you're very
Oh,
right. The whole idea of like they can't see what's happening all right in front of them because they're so distracted by all this pain that they're in and all that stuff. And I don't know. In a lot of ways, I feel like that really speaks to the times that we are currently in,
mm.
and that's why I was like, this is the perfect thing to come out right now. Like everybody needs to see this right now. After 2020, after the last 5 or 6 years, everyone needs to fucking watch this movie just to heal, just to
it's
understand.
it's a
Like,
very good show. It's interesting that all the episodes are completely random in length, probably because they just made the episodes as long as they needed to be. So
mm,
something you couldn't do on TV.
and God, that ending, the total finale of it
Oh,
all, like,
oh God!
wow.
Wow, indeed. What else can you say but wow? Like, these.
And I feel that very much, day by day. I feel that I am. I don't want to give too much away, but I do feel that I am just looking at the landscape and seeing nothing but fire. You know, it's just like this is fine. I am fine with the events as they are currently unfolding.
There are some genuinely very interesting discussions between the priest character and the main character
Yes.
about life.
My favorite scene though was in the schoolhouse when they were trying to like insert teaching the fucking Bible
Oh
at the
yeah.
school,
Mm-hmm.
and the Muslim characters like explaining his beliefs to them, and they're like, "You don't need to tell us this," and going on and on and on about it until like I think you're making people uncomfortable by talking about this. I just don't think this is the right place to talk
Oh
about
my
this.
God.
And he goes, exactly. It's like, oh my god,
And they
fucking mic drop.
and that
Boom.
and they're so obtuse in their zealotry and willingness to be completely ignorant in their own religion that they completely miss the fucking point.
Yep, they completely missed his point. But
Mm-hmm.
to anybody watching, it was like, oh my god, brutally awful, awesome, just brutally awesome. I almost said awful, but awesome, brutally awesome. Loved that scene. It's like,
Yeah.
by the way, prayer is not banned in school. You can pray in school. You just can't force kids to pray in school.
Or read the Bible.
The Bible is not banned in school. You
Mm-hmm.
just can't force kids to learn about or read the Bible in school. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
That's why most fundamental Christians have moved to home teaching. Which is part of the problem with
Yeah.
the very far right. A lot of them were these homeschooled kids, and now they're completely ignorant about certain things and emulating the bad people because they don't know any better because someone didn't fucking teach them.
Yes. I knew people growing up who were still in public school at this point, but like, you know, their parents were very strict about what they were and were not allowed to watch or learn about or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, oh my God, what a sad, sad existence.
I mean,
I'm sorry
I had an amazing,
for not preparing your child for the world.
high school world history teacher named Mr. Hypers. And I say his name because he's a fucking hero. He was from Denmark, and he survived the Holocaust with his family. They ran for their lives with only their clothes on their back and no shoes on their feet. I'm not making this up. He told his whole fucking story. He sat there for the entire class and told us about the true face of evil and what it means when you're close up to that evil. And like, if more kids in any generation had that talk, I think things would be a lot different landscape-wise right now. We still have a division,
yeah.
but I don't think we'd have the Nazis.
I am reminded of some of the final words of Elie Wiesel. When I can't stop these words keep ringing in my head day after day, at least once every fucking 10 minutes, no joke. Just, he said, we had a feeling at that time that the world had descended into madness.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, anyone feeling like that today? Because I sure am.
Sure
It's
do.
like, oh my goodness.
But yeah, Midnight Mass is basically touches on all this stuff, and it's awesome. It's amazing. It's so good. Like, it's so incredible that I can't wait to watch it again. I'm going to watch it again. And in 3 years, when I finally get to Blu-ray, I'm going to buy it and watch it again.
Yes. I love how they introduce the spooky elements in the movie, because it's very I mean, if I recall correctly, there were a few jump scare moments, but for the most part it's very just like blink and miss it kind of stuff, and just keep an eye out. There's something here on the screen that you need to be seeing.
I mean, I did call the thing in the trunk immediately.
Yes.
I was like,
yes.
I was like, oh, that's this. And then I second guessed myself. I mean, it's not that hard, but I'm saying
it was pretty. Yeah. The potential was definitely there, and yes, like, it's hard to say for sure. That's, I think, one of that speaks to the quality of the story, though. That until about halfway through,
you're not entirely sure.
The series, you're not entirely sure exactly what the story is.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
Then eventually you get the pieces of the puzzle you need to put it all together, and like, oh, okay. But yeah, really fucking good, really good. I feel like if you're gonna watch anything, if you don't have a lot of time to watch anything this Halloween season because you're really busy with work or whatever, make this one of the things you watch.
Midnight Mass, so good.
Make Midnight Mass one of the things.
So good.
It is so good. If you liked Haunting of Hill House, you will love this. You gotta see it. If you've ever liked anything Mike Flanagan has ever done, you should know this is some of his best work.
I mean, it's clearly the most deeply personal. Like, it's clearly, because it deals with, like, alcoholism, the small town, like mob mentality, about trying to recover from grief. How it even talks in some places how grief's not a straight line. That you're just gonna come back to things you thought you were over, and they're gonna haunt you again. That's the worst part of that grief is you think you're over something and it's just gonna come back and fuck you up again for days.
Yep.
So yeah, we talked for an hour and a half. Anything else you wanna add?
No, not really. I mean, I watched a few other things, but it was basically just like for my own mental well-being.
Same.
I watched Up, and then I
Oh God,
watched
is that why you tweeted about it
Inside Out,
destroying you?
and then well,
You blubbered, didn't you?
no. I
I did.
I wrote that tweet, and that made me want to watch it. That's
Oh, okay.
I watched it.
Because he tweeted about how, like, what the fuck, breaking my heart in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, every time you watch it, it does that to you.
I finally saw Idle Hands.
Even just remembering it, though, it was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Why did they do that?
So you'll be proud of me. I finally saw Idle Hands. I know you've been trying to get me to see that for forever.
You'd never seen Idle Hands?
No, you kept trying to get me to watch it.
I love that.
I watched the Elvira Mistress of the Dark as part of her 40th anniversary super scary show special on Shudder. I had to watch the other 2 or 3 movies that were presented, but I saw that. It's just like my 500th time seeing the fucking movie. I would say, oh, I saw Shadow in the Clouds, the new 2020 movie. You know what we didn't talk about? I forgot to add it, I think. Oh my God, I didn't add it to any of the lists. And now we have to talk about Malignant.
Oh yeah, Malignant. Oh my goodness.
What a
Glad you remembered
movie. I saw it on the list. I'm like, why didn't I write down that we saw this together?
And I wrote a lot about this in the Discord, but I will go over that again. That initially my feelings watching this movie, because I watched it on my own and then I watched it with Elise. Initially my feelings were like, there are certain elements of this movie that are so, like, that are really not good, in my opinion. Like, really poorly done. But then there are other elements of it that just like, oh my God, that's so fucking cool. I love that idea. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Elise points out to me that the idea that I love has been done before in other ways.
Which we will be watching
like,
at some point. But
yeah, and I'm like, oh, no, yeah, I remember, like, I've never seen the movie, but I remember more or less what the plot point is with it. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I can kind of see that. Yeah,
I can.
I just hadn't thought of it.
It's clearly it's clear
this
that
one is different still.
it's also very clear that oh fuck, I fucked up. That James Wan was influenced by obviously slashers, but more importantly, giallo in a lot of ways, and that that killer is so fucking unique, so interesting.
Right? I really love the killer, and like that's why I want this to do well, so that we can get a sequel. But I don't think it's going to.
Yeah, probably not.
Movies, you know, maybe.
But you never know. This one got but Malignant got like kind of shredded.
Yeah, and I personally, I think I can see why, because there are so many elements of it that's like, there were moments in this movie that were so genuinely awful to me, my opinion,
right,
that I could not tell if it was a parody.
The opening
or if
5,
it was a serious movie,
especially the opening 5 minutes.
And so I'm just like, am I watching a parody horror film, or am I watching a real, like, serious horror film? I couldn't tell sometimes.
Yeah, there's some genuinely bad writing and acting.
That's a problem. So, like, you have to go out there and say that. But at the same time, this fucking horror character, this monster in this movie, the baddie of the movie, is so fucking cool. I love the concept, and it's when you think about it, I guess a little bit simplistic, but
A
at the
little
same
ridiculous,
time,
but like in a good way, I think.
and ridiculous in a good way.
Simple's not a
Exactly.
bad thing because it's well executed. I think that part of it.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
last, the last like 40 minutes of *Malignant* are what you're watching this movie for. When everything
Oh yeah.
goes, everything goes
Oh yeah.
fucky. It's a roller coaster for like the last 30, 40 minutes. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
stop. It barely stops for you to breathe. It's a lot of fun. What did I rate that? I don't even know.
I think you gave it a 7. I gave it a 6.
I gave it a
Honestly,
6. Nope, I gave it a
I
6.
gave it a 6 because it's like,
But I gave it a favorite because I really liked it
and
still.
I
So
remember what I said initially about this movie was like, it's the first time I've felt like I have to give it a 6, but not because it's a, a solidly mediocre film, but rather because parts of it are really bad and parts of it are really good. So the rating is somewhere in the middle as a result of that. And it's the
it's
first movie in a long time I can think of that was like that for me.
and that's the reason why it's so divisive. I think why some people
Yeah.
hate it and some people love it. Uh, it's got a lot of like real '80s vibe to it, like a cheesy type slasher film.
Yes.
And don't get it wrong. This is definitely a slasher film. People keep getting killed in various ways. It's a slasher film. And there's a slasher killer in it. But yeah, can't wait to watch the two movies that are kind of similar. They are both by Frank Henenlotter, actually. So, I don't think I have anything else to add to *Malignant*. Do you?
Not really. Well, I guess one thing maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like there has to be some reason why there were parts of the movie that were just not very good and parts that were really awesome. And I just want to know why. I'm almost more interested in that mystery than in seeing a sequel. I want to see the documentary, the full length, feature
I
length
mean,
documentary about Malignant that explains how and why some parts were so bad it made me think it was a parody. You know,
I
that's what I want.
and I mean
That's
like
what I want.
technically most Hollywood studio films Hollywood studio films, um, like they have like a 5-10 man documentary crew that's literally all over the production. All they do is film. They have thousands of hours of footage for a lot of these movies to make documentaries with, and they don't do anything with it.
I'm probably
I'd be
going to
fascinated.
buy when this comes on Blu-ray. I'm probably going to buy it just so I can listen to the director commentary, if there is a
Oh,
director commentary,
yeah, or
just so
interview.
that I
There might be an
can.
interview. That'd be kind
Hope,
too.
yeah, I can hopefully glean some information from that. Like, was it studio interference? Was it this? Was it that? I
If it's
don't
studio
know.
interference, they may not be able to say. To be fair.
Yeah, but there might be something, and I'm just so
Yeah.
desperate for some kind of an explanation.
I mean, it's not. And it's not like it's like a regional horror film where it's just really strange in some way, and you want an
Yeah,
explanation. It's just this is just I want an explanation. A little different kind of feeling.
yeah.
All right. So, anything else you'd like to add before we're done?
No, not really. Oh well, I guess I could talk about. We both got this,
Yeah,
the
mine's over.
WNUF Halloween special on Blu-ray.
Yeah. I
Because you need to
also
see this in high definition.
I
Go
don't even know
ahead.
if it's shot in high definition, but I also got this. This is a VSA title, which is like a old VHS style box. But they're limited edition, and I never miss them. Hey, at least this one came numbered. One of these isn't numbered magically. It's supposed to be limited numbered. Yeah. And for some reason, Champagne and Bullets, also known as Road to Revenge, also known as Get Even, from Best of the Worst, is known as Get Even. This has no number on it. They just
Oh
neglected to write
no!
a fucking number on it.
Oh no!
And I don't know if that makes it worthless or not.
Never know.
I don't really give a fuck about value because it's about me wanting. I don't want to. The only reason I buy those is because they've never reprinted any of them. If they reprinted them like in standard editions, like they do with every other movie, I would not be so quick to buy every VSA title. That's what it boils down to. It's a FOMO thing. and I have all of them. But this, I had to jump on the WNUF holiday special. This is something me and Stout watched last year, and it's now a staple. We're going to be watching this probably this weekend. It's a good chance of watching this weekend.
Love it.
And then I got Dinosaurs in a Mining Facility from Gold Ninja Video. It looks fun. Rubber dinosaurs eat people. Then I also, it's been 3 weeks. I got an order from my birthday order in from Severin, and I got Deep Blood, Raiders of Atlantis. I love this movie. I want to show you this movie at some point. Warriors of the Year 2072, also known as the Last Gladiators. I have that on DVD actually. Endgame, also known as Endgame: The Last Bronx, and then I got Strike Commando 1 and 2. And I got a bunch of other movies, but like I mostly put them on the shelf already, so it doesn't matter. Oh, here's one that's not on the shelf. I got Return of Dracula, which is a sequel to the original Dracula, but not by the same people. This is a Fox film. And so I have this and Return of the Vampire, which are both sequels to the original Dracula. And they both bring Dracula to the modern times in different ways. So it's kind of like, that's a concept I really like. I already have Return of the Vampire. Return of the Vampire, which stars Bela Lugosi as the Dracula character, known as just the vampire. He's in a coffin and a bomb in World War II wakes him up. That's the premise of
interesting.
Return of the Vampire is very fucking good. Not related to that Scream Factory title called The Vampire. It's just called Return of the Vampire to Return of Dracula. It was taken by Return of Dracula. So yeah, that's
pretty sure I have that movie actually. I have
Scream Factory title. I think you did. It's one of the clearance titles a while ago.
No, on DVD actually.
Oh, it's possible.
Because I have a movie that I was like, wait,
it's on one of the Mill Creek sets.
There's a different. No, I'm talking about the movie itself on its own DVD, and I got it specifically because it was in like one of those bag sales from Half Price Books, right? Mm-hmm. And it was still sealed, manufacturer sealed, and the packaging on the outside had like extra artwork on the plastic.
Oh wow!
But it made it look a little bit even cooler, and I still have the factory seal on it because I literally just bought it because it looked cool.
That's kind of neat. But yeah, Mill Creek released it on a 4-movie set with Brotherhood of Satan and 2 other movies that have also. Oh, Hostel 1 and 2, I think. I think it's a set. No, it's Mr. Sardonicus and something else. I can't remember the 4th movie.
The reason I didn't immediately think of that is because you have the other artwork on it, and the one that I have is the original artwork.
I have Return of the Vampire, which is a different movie than the Return of Dracula. That's 2 different movies. I showed you Return of Dracula, which is the other movie where Dracula comes back.
Return of Dracula is the one you're talking about. Return of the Vampire is the one I have.
Return of the Vampire is the one that takes place in World War II. Return of Dracula I haven't seen yet. But Return of the Vampire is one of my favorite movies. I love it. It's got Bela Lugosi. I don't know who did this. I looked at it. Didn't even read anything about this. This has Francis Letter.
Lugosi did a lot of stuff after Dracula. Like, he just became the hot shit. He was doing all kinds of stuff.
But yeah, Dracula movie, sure. Sean, I think, has it. I think he probably watched it that year he was watching about Dracula movies, but...
Probably, yeah.
So yeah, anything else?
No, not really.
All right. We'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks, y'all, for another Couch Tomatoes movie chat. And have a good evening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.